Have you ever wondered why your devotion, your kindness, your sincere desire to be the perfect partner so often leads to the opposite result? You strive to be understanding, and in return, you get indifference. You smooth things over, and you stop getting noticed. You give all of yourself without reservation, and in the end, you feel not valued, but convenient, empty, used. Now, this is not some cruel irony of fate. It is the predictable outcome of following the unwritten rules of the good girl that society, your upbringing, and maybe even your own fears have imprinted on your subconscious. You've become a hostage to an image you thought would guarantee love and security, but in reality, it built an invisible prison around your soul, a prison where you're valued not for who you are, but for how convenient you are for someone else. Carl Gustav Jung, the great explorer of the depths of the human psyche, dedicated his life to studying these invisible chains, and he came to a shocking, yet liberating conclusion. A man begins to truly value a woman, and becomes terrified of losing her, not when she becomes perfect for him, but when she dares to become inconvenient for him, when she takes off the good girl mask and lets her true, whole self come into the light. This fear of losing you is not the fear of a spoiled child who's afraid of losing a toy. No, it's a deep, almost mystical respect that a man feels for the power he suddenly sees in you, the power to be yourself, the power to set boundaries, the power that says without words, my world doesn't revolve around you, but I can let you be a part of it if you prove yourself worthy. Today, we are not going to learn manipulation. We are going to embark on a much deeper and more important journey toward our true selves. We will uncover the 6 main good girl rules that you have carefully followed, rules that have slowly eroded the respect others have for you, and we will break them, not to become a bad girl, but to finally become yourself, whole, real, the kind of woman they're afraid to lose because her presence is a gift, not an obligation. Are you ready for this transformation? Then let's get started. Asterisk. Rule number 1 to break, always be understanding. Asterisk. The first and most insidious rule in the good girl code says you must always understand him in everything, his exhaustion, his bad moods, his forgetfulness, his harsh words. You've become a professional container for other people's negativity, a walking encyclopedia of excuses for his behavior. You have learned to skillfully find an explanation for any of his actions that hurt you. He's just tired from work. He had a rough day. He didn't mean to hurt me. That's just how he is. Jung called the social mask we wear to be accepted by society the persona. Your persona is the image of a boundlessly understanding, all-forgiving, and wise woman, and you have merged with it so completely that you've started to believe it is your true self. But what is happening behind the scenes of this perfect mask? Every time you put yourself in his shoes while betraying your own feelings, you are committing an act of violence against your own soul. You suppress your righteous anger, your hurt, your disappointment, and where do you think these suppressed emotions go? Jung gave this place a precise name, the shadow. Your shadow is the repository for everything you have deemed bad and unacceptable in yourself, and your endless understanding and kindness are the most nourishing food for this shadow. Now, it doesn't disappear, it accumulates. It grows inside you, turning into a dull, unspoken resentment, into passive aggression, into psychosomatic illnesses, into an inexplicable apathy. You smile and say, I understand everything, while inside you, a poisonous fungus of contempt is spreading, contempt for him for treating you this way, and, most terrifyingly, for yourself for allowing it. On a subconscious level, a man picks up on this dissonance. He sees your smile, but he feels the coldness radiating from your shadow. He doesn't understand what's going on, but he senses the insincerity, and he stops trusting you. But most importantly, he stops respecting you. Why? Because people do not respect something that has no boundaries. Your understanding has become limitless, and because of that, it has lost its value. It has changed from a virtue into a function, a service that is simply expected by default. Breaking the rule. To break this rule doesn't mean becoming cold and selfish. It means restoring the true value of your understanding. It means setting a boundary. The next time he says something harsh or does something that hurts you, instead of automatically saying, "It's okay, I understand," stop, pause, look at him calmly without any drama, and say one of these phrases. "I don't like it when you talk to me in that tone. What you just did hurt me. I'm not willing to talk about this when you're in this mood." You are not yelling. You are not accusing. You are not throwing a tantrum. You are simply stating a fact. You are defining your boundary. You are showing that your emotional space is not a public restroom where anyone can dump their negativity. Asterisk, asterisk. What will happen to him? At first, he'll be stunned. His familiar worldview, where you are a reliable source of comfort, will be shattered. He might try to use his old manipulative tactics, accusing you of being selfish. "I thought you understood me." Or, "You're being too sensitive." Seriously? You're offended by that? Do not give in. Your job is to calmly stand your ground against this attack on your new boundaries. Your silence in response to his manipulation will speak louder than any scream. And then a miracle will happen. After getting through the initial shock and resistance, he will no longer see just a function in front of him, but a person, a living human being with her own feelings and her own dignity. He will realize that your understanding isn't something to be taken for granted, but a precious resource that must be earned. He will understand that you can be hurt, which means he needs to treat you with more care. It is at this very moment that not only respect, but also the fear of losing you will be born in him, the fear of losing not just a convenient object, but a valuable, deep person whose affection and understanding now come at a high price. He will start to think before he speaks. He will begin to cherish the moments when you truly understand him, because he will know that it is something he has earned, not something you owe him. You will stop being just the background for him and become the main figure, and that changes absolutely everything. Rule number 2 to break: never show your anger since early childhood. Good girls are taught that getting angry isn't attractive. Girls are supposed to be gentle, loving, and accommodating. Anger was forbidden, labeled as something destructive and shameful, and you learned to suppress it. You became an expert at swallowing insults, at forcing a smile in the face of injustice. Your anger, this incredibly powerful life force, was banished to the darkest corners of your mind, into that very shadow Jung talked about. But as Jung taught, what we resist not only persists but grows, so your suppressed anger didn't just disappear. It changed form. It turned into toxic passive aggressiveness, into sharp sarcastic comments, into cold silence, into accidentally forgotten requests, into mysterious migraines that showed up exactly when you were supposed to go somewhere together. You don't show your anger openly, but your whole presence radiates with this unspoken rage. A man can feel this. He can't quite put his finger on why, but he senses this heavy tension. He sees an angel in front of him, but it feels like he's sitting on a powder keg. This contradiction drives him crazy and destroys intimacy. He can't trust your kindness because he instinctively feels the hidden hostility underneath it. On top of that, your inability to deal with anger makes you an easy target for manipulators and narcissists. Like predators, they can sense fear, your fear of your own anger. They know they can cross your boundaries without consequences because you'll never stand up for yourself. You'll just stay quiet, smile, and try to be understanding. Your virtue becomes their license to mistreat you. Breaking the rule. Breaking this rule doesn't mean turning into someone who yells at every little thing. It means legitimizing your anger, recognizing it as your right, and reclaiming the sacred energy that nature gave us to protect our boundaries. Jung said, the goal of individuation, the process of becoming oneself, is to integrate, not suppress, the shadow. You don't need to suppress your anger. You need to learn how to use it as a precise and refined tool. The next time you feel a wave of anger, don't squash it. First, acknowledge it. Tell yourself in your mind, I'm angry right now, and I have every right to be. Second, identify the cause. What exactly triggered this reaction? Which of your boundaries was crossed? What need was overlooked? Third, express it constructively. Wait until the initial intensity passes. Then go up to the person, look him calmly in the eye, and say, I want to talk about what happened. When you describe the specific action, say, I felt a strong surge of anger because. Explain the reason connected to your feelings and boundaries. For example, when you promised to do something and didn't follow through again, I got angry because I felt like my time and my plans aren't important to you. You're not yelling. You're not insulting him. You're talking about your feelings. You're using I statements. You're not attacking him. You're standing up for yourself. What will happen to him? It will feel like an explosion, not because you're yelling, but because, for the first time, he'll see your strength. Not physical strength, but psychological strength. He'll see that you're not afraid. You're not afraid of conflict. You're not afraid of his reaction. But most importantly, you're not afraid of yourself. He'll realize he's not dealing with someone spineless, but with a woman who has a backbone, a woman who won't let herself be walked all over. He might be shocked, maybe even a little scared of this new, unfamiliar version of you. But beyond that fear, he'll feel the deepest respect. He'll understand that your kindness and gentleness aren't weaknesses, but a conscious choice. You can be kind, but you can also stand up for yourself. This duality, this sense of being whole, what Jung called the integration of the animus, the inner masculine, is what makes a woman incredibly attractive. He'll start to fear losing you, because he'll realize this woman won't put up with things forever. She has a boiling point. She has a red line. And if he crosses it, she won't be the one crying into a pillow. She'll be able to turn around and walk away, because a woman who reclaims her anger also reclaims her freedom, and there's nothing sexier or more valuable than a woman who is free to be herself. Asterisk, asterisk, rule number 3 to break, always being available and convenient, asterisk, asterisk. Your phone is always within arm's reach. You reply to a text 30 seconds after you get it. You're ready to cancel your plans with friends if he suddenly suggests meeting up. Your life feels like a waiting room, and he's the main train whose schedule you know by heart. You're always available, always on call, always convenient. This good girl rule comes from a deep-seated fear. If I'm not there the moment he needs me, he'll find someone else. If I'm inconvenient, he'll be disappointed in me. You believe that your constant availability is proof of your love and devotion. But from the psychological perspective that Jung explored, you are making a fatal mistake. You are devaluing your most important resource, yourself, your time, your energy, your life. Imagine if diamonds were scattered on the road like ordinary pebbles. Would they be any less beautiful? No. But would they still be valuable? Of course not. Value is determined not only by quality, but also by rarity. Your constant availability turns you from a rare diamond into a roadside pebble. Nice, pleasant, but utterly without value. Now, Jung spoke of the process of individuation, the path to attaining the self, one's true, whole I. This path is impossible without separation, without detaching oneself from others. To become yourself, you must have your own life, your own interests, your own hobbies, your own secrets, your own personal space where no one is allowed, not even the man you love most. When you are always available, you are demonstrating to him that you have no life of your own. Your world is empty, and you are waiting for him to come and fill it. This is not attractive. It's repulsive. It scares a healthy, mature man because he doesn't want to be responsible for your happiness, and it corrupts the immature, narcissistic man because he sees that he can completely consume you, dissolve you into himself, and strip you of your will. Breaking the rule. To break this rule means to consciously create a deficit of your presence, not as a manipulation, but as a natural consequence of you having your own life. Point 1. Stop replying to messages instantly. You are not a 911 operator. You might be busy. You might be reading a book, taking a bath, meditating, or simply not wanting to talk right now. Reply when it's convenient for you and when you have the resources for it. In an hour, in 3, sometimes the next day. 2. Do not cancel your plans for him. If you have a meeting with a friend, a yoga class, or a solo trip to a museum planned and he suddenly asks you to the movies, politely decline. Honey, that sounds great, but I already have plans for today. Maybe another time? 3. Fill your life. This is the key point. You can't just pretend to be busy. You have to actually be busy. Find what ignites your passion: dancing, painting, learning a new language, volunteering, starting your own blog. When you're passionate about something, you give off a completely different vibe, an energy of self-sufficiency. Asterisk, asterisk. What will happen to him? Asterisk, asterisk. At first, confusion. How can she have plans? She was always available for me. Then comes a bit of anxiety. He'll feel like he's losing control. He's no longer the center of your universe, and that very anxiety is the start of his fear of losing you. He'll realize that something interesting is happening in your life, something he's not directly a part of. You become a mystery to him, an unknown land. And his hunters, his explorer's instinct will drive him to try to solve this mystery. He'll start to value your time because he'll realize it's limited. He'll plan dates with you ahead of time. He'll ask with genuine interest, "So, what did you do yesterday?" He'll listen closely to your stories about your hobbies because they'll give him a glimpse into your new, amazing world. He'll understand that you're not just his woman, you're a separate, complete, fascinating person. And to be a part of your life, he'll have to put in some effort. He needs to earn your attention, not just get it by default. That's when you stop being convenient and start being valuable. And people are always afraid of losing something valuable. He'll be afraid of losing you, not because you've become cold or distant, but because you've become fulfilled and whole. And the light that shines from a fulfilled woman is the most powerful magnet for a man. Rule number 4 to break: the good girl should avoid conflict at all costs. Conflict is seen as a catastrophe. It feels like a threat to the relationship, a sign that a breakup is coming. You're willing to do anything to keep the peace, give in, stay quiet, or agree with things you completely disagree with. Your main mantra is anything to avoid a fight. This fear of conflict, as Jung would say, is actually rooted in the fear of rejection. Your peacemaker persona is a defense mechanism meant to protect your vulnerable inner self from the pain of feeling unwanted or abandoned. You see conflict as a sign that there's no love. But in reality, the truth is just the opposite. A relationship without conflict isn't a healthy relationship, it's a dead one. It's a relationship between two masks, not two real, living people. It's a silent agreement based on fear, not on real closeness. The absence of conflict doesn't mean there's harmony. It means that at least one partner, and probably both, has sacrificed their individuality for the illusion of unity. Now, Jung believed that when two personalities meet, it's like the contact between two chemical substances. If there's any reaction, both are changed. Conflict is that very chemical reaction. It's a natural and necessary process where two different value systems, two different worlds, collide in order to find common ground, develop shared rules, and become closer and more understandable to each other. By avoiding conflict, you're actually depriving your relationship of the chance to grow. It stagnates, turning into a swamp choked with the sludge of unspoken grievances and silent resentments. Now, in these conflict-free relationships, at first a man enjoys the comfort. No one argues, no one objects. It seems perfect. But very soon, this peace starts to suffocate him. He feels like he's not next to a living person, but rather an amorphous, will-less being. He feels no resistance, and because of that, he doesn't sense your personality. Respect fades, and he gets bored. He might even start unconsciously provoking you into a conflict just to feel some life, some kind of reaction. Breaking the rule. Breaking this rule doesn't mean starting a fight over every little thing. It means to stop being afraid of conflict and start seeing it as a tool for relationship growth. It means finding the courage to say no and to stand your ground. First, stop agreeing if you don't actually agree. Instead of just nodding, say, "I have a different opinion on that." Second, don't be afraid to start a difficult conversation. If something is bothering you, don't wait for it to fix itself. Say, "We need to talk about the problem." Third, during a conflict, keep it as us against the problem, not me against you. Also, talk about your feelings, don't make accusations. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," say, "When you interrupt me, I feel like my opinion doesn't matter to you, and that really upsets me." Fourth, be ready for the possibility that you might not reach an agreement, and that's okay. The goal of a healthy conflict isn't to defeat the other person, but to be heard and to understand your partner's perspective. Sometimes, it's enough to simply agree to disagree while respecting each other's viewpoints. Asterisk, asterisk, what will happen to him? Asterisk, asterisk, he will be in shock. The woman who always gave in has suddenly found her voice and her backbone. For the first time, he will encounter your healthy, integrated animus, your inner strength, your ability to defend your boundaries. He will realize that you are not his shadow, not his echo. You are a separate universe with your own rules. He will feel your resistance, and if he is a mature man, this will not provoke anger, but immense respect. He will see that you value yourself and your principles more than temporary peace. For him, conflict will become proof that you are alive, that you are not afraid, that you are willing to stand up for what you believe in. And that is incredibly attractive. He will start to take your words more seriously. He will know that when you say yes, you truly mean it, not just agreeing out of fear. Your opinion will carry more weight, and he will begin to fear losing you, because he'll realize you're not the kind of woman who will quietly put up with anything. You are someone who can say, "This is unacceptable to me." Either we find a solution that works for both of us, or we go our separate ways. This willingness to walk away, this refusal to cling to the relationship at any cost, is exactly what triggers a man's deep, panicked fear of losing a woman who has found her own sense of completeness. Rule number 5 to break: never talk about your wants and needs. The good girl firmly believes in the myth, "If he loves me, he should guess what I want on his own." She waits for him to read her mind, to guess her secret desires, to anticipate her needs. She believes that talking about her desires directly is selfish, unfeminine, and somehow humiliating. It's like begging for alms. As a result, she lives in a state of perpetual quiet disappointment. He didn't give her the right flowers, didn't invite her to that restaurant, didn't say those exact words. She suffers in silence, accumulating resentments. And these resentments, as we now know, go straight into her shadow, poisoning everything around her. She puts on the persona of a woman of mystery or a selfless martyr who asks for nothing for herself. Jung would say that this is one of the most destructive forms of self-denial. By refusing to voice your needs, you are sending a signal to your subconscious: I am not important. My desires do not matter. You betray your true self, the I, which cannot be whole without the acknowledgement and satisfaction of its needs. And what about the man? He is not a mind reader. He lives in his own world with his own thoughts. He may genuinely love you, but have no idea what is going on in your soul. He perceives your silence not as mystery, but as a sign that you are content with everything. Your undemanding nature starts to relax him over time and then to irritate him. He senses your quiet dissatisfaction, but doesn't understand its cause, which makes him feel guilty and powerless. The relationship turns into a minefield where he is afraid to make a wrong move. Asterisk, asterisk, breaking the rule. Asterisk, asterisk. To break this rule means to take 100% responsibility for meeting your own needs. It means to stop waiting and start speaking clearly, plainly, and without hints. First, recognize your desires. Before you can say anything, you need to understand what you want, not just something vague, but specifically, like, I want to go to the coast for the weekend, I want you to hug me more often, or I need you to pick up the kids from school once a week so I can have some time for myself. Second, speak directly and simply. Let go of hints and manipulations. Instead of saying, well, Mary's husband gave her. Say it directly, honey, I would be so happy if you gave me a specific gift for my birthday. Instead of letting out a long, weary sigh, say, I'm really tired today. I need your help with dinner. Third, state your desires as facts, not as demands. You're not asking, you're letting them know. Your tone should be calm and confident. You have the right to want things. It's your inalienable right as a living person. Asterisk, asterisk. What will happen to him? Asterisk, asterisk. For him, this will feel like a breath of fresh air. You take away the impossible burden of having to read your mind. You give him clear and simple instructions on how to make you happy. For a healthy man who loves you, this is a gift. He wants to see you happy, and now he knows how to make that happen. He will stop feeling guilty and helpless. He will see you not as a moody child sulking in the corner, but as a mature adult woman who knows what she wants from life and isn't afraid to say it. This is a sign of the highest self-esteem. It's at this moment that he'll start to respect you on a whole new level. He will understand that you are not a bottomless pit of needs that can never be satisfied, but a person with clear and understandable desires. He will see that you value yourself enough to care about your own comfort and happiness, and the fear of losing you will grow 100 times stronger. Why? Because a woman who takes care of her own needs doesn't depend on him for her happiness. She can be happy with or without him. He stops being the only source of her joy. This means she can walk away at any time if her basic needs in the relationship aren't being met. He will realize that your happiness isn't his responsibility, but rather it's his privilege to be a part of it, and that's a privilege he'll be more afraid of losing than anything else in the world. Asterisk, asterisk, rule number 6 to break, being an open book for him. Asterisk, asterisk. There should be no secrets in a relationship, the good girl insists, so she turns her life into a live broadcast. She tells him everything, what she talked about with her friend, what's bothering her at work, what fears haunt her, what she dreamed of as a child. She throws her soul wide open for him, believing that total transparency is the ultimate expression of intimacy and trust. She is afraid of being a mystery because she thinks it's a form of dishonesty. She wants to be understood, predictable, transparent. She believes this will create an unbreakable bond. But as Jung would say, a person's soul is a bottomless ocean, not a shallow pond. By trying to make your soul completely understandable to another person, you are, in essence, vulgarizing it, simplifying it, stripping it of its sacred depth. Your inner space, yourself, is not a public park, but a sacred temple, and access to its holy of holies must be strictly limited. Total transparency kills mystery, and mystery is the oxygen for attraction and interest. When a man knows everything about you, when he can predict your every reaction, your every move, you cease to be an object of exploration for him. You become a read book gathering dust on a shelf, interesting, perhaps even beloved, but one doesn't return to it with a fluttering heart. Furthermore, your constant soul-bearing transforms him from a lover into a therapist or a girlfriend. You burden him with your anxieties, shifting the responsibility for your emotional state onto him. This exhausts him. The male psyche is not designed to constantly contain female emotions. He begins to distance himself to protect himself from this flood. Asterisk, asterisk, breaking the rule, asterisk, asterisk. To break this rule doesn't mean starting to lie or hide something important. It means learning to cultivate your inner world and guard it carefully. Point 1. Keep some thoughts and feelings to yourself. Not everything that pops into your head needs to be immediately voiced. Some experiences, insights, and dreams should remain yours alone. This is your secret treasury. 2. Have your own secrets, innocent ones. It could be a journal you keep, a project you're not telling anyone about, a place in the city you only go to alone. This creates the feeling that you have your own separate rich life. 3. Asterisk, asterisk. When asked about your past or something very personal, answer with a slight air of mystery, asterisk, asterisk, instead of a detailed report. Smile and say, "Oh, that's a long story. I'll tell you over a glass of wine sometime," or "Let that remain my little secret." 4. Don't make him the only one who has to handle all your emotions. Talk about your problems with friends, with a therapist, right? Write them down in a journal. Come to him not to unload your negativity, but to share joy and warmth. Asterisk, asterisk, what will happen to him? Asterisk, asterisk. Will he feel like you've become distant? No, he'll sense your depth. He'll realize that even after many years with you, he's still far from knowing everything about you. You'll become an endless source for him, an ocean he can dive into over and over, discovering something new every time. He'll see that you're emotionally self-sufficient. You don't rely on him to process your anxieties. This will inspire tremendous respect and lift a huge burden from his shoulders. Being with you will feel easy and peaceful for him, and his fear of losing you will reach its highest point because he'll realize he can never fully possess you. There will always be a part of you, a secret that belongs only to you. This sense of inaccessibility, this endless depth, is the most powerful aphrodisiac. He will be afraid of losing you because he'll know he never completely figured you out, and what remains unsolved will always call to him. A woman who has kept the mystery of her soul becomes unforgettable to a man. She is the very book he is willing to reread his whole life, discovering new meanings between the lines every time. The journey from being a good girl to becoming a whole woman isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It is a deep inner work that will require both courage and patience from you. Breaking these 6 rules isn't just about changing your behavior. It's a tectonic shift in how you see yourself. It's the death of your false persona and the birth of your true self. You stop being convenient and become truly real. You stop being merely understanding and start being honest. You stop being available and become valuable. You stop being accommodating and you develop boundaries. You stop being voiceless and you find your voice. You stop being an open book and you become a mystery. It's this transformation, this achievement of your wholeness, that creates a healthy fear in a man of losing you. He's afraid of losing not just an accessory to his life, but a separate, vibrant, self-sufficient universe. He's afraid of losing a woman who chose to be with him not because she was afraid of being alone, but out of her own free will, and the choice of a free person is the most precious gift, so don't focus on trying to keep him from leaving you. Focus on becoming someone whose loss would be the biggest mistake of his life. Integrate your shadow. Acknowledge your anger, your desires, your boundaries, and then you won't have to play by anyone else's rules anymore. You will start to write your own story, and believe me, it will be the most captivating story he will ever read, the story of a woman who dared to be herself and became unforgettable.